Hello, everyone. I'm going to fold my clothes while I talk about my day. Kind of like how I do it in every now and then. Here I go. Okay, so here's what I remember. It was like early in the morning. I woke up at like 8:30, and my mom woke me up, and she wanted to discuss a new construction project that she was working on with me. So I got up and I was really dehydrated. I don't know if you guys are super dehydrated when you wake up to the point where if you feel like if you don't get water in your system in the next like 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to like die of dehydration or something. But that's me. So I got some water and I rehydrated very well. I felt rejuvenated and refreshed. It was very nice. So, after I was rejuvenated, refreshed, I grinded a cup of coffee using the Magnifica Evo machine. And hold on one second. These earbuds are a little annoying right now. There we go, that's better. So, anywho, yeah, I had some coffee and we discussed this interesting plan of putting a sunroof using a special type of structured system in the backyard for when family comes over, and shade can keep people nice and comfortable in that area for long periods of time. So it inspired me to go and grab Claude Fable 5, and we talked about the project. We took pictures of the current state of the location and how things are going. And we got some insights about what materials we need, like, for example, like 2x4 or 3, or was it 4x4 like attachments to the wood pole beams that create sort of a frame, kind of like a picture frame with a middle, and that should create a tight wraparound location for the tarp, or not tarp, but thing we plan on moving or tying around the frame to cover the sun. So it was a pretty productive morning, I would say. Very in-depth morning. When we had figured out what we were going to do, I decided to then spend my time opening up YouTube on my phone and finding this video of the craziest supermarket I've ever seen, and it was called Jungle Gyms. And it was basically this extremely detailed, advanced market where this guy he's like been running it for like years, and he like dresses up as a wizard, and it's pretty cool. And he basically, has been in that area for a while, and they spend so much money in that grocery store getting all kinds of imported goods and giving out things like free, drinks and stuff like that. It definitely feels like a very lively location that honestly I, don't really see that much from grocery stores. Grocery stores just feel very utility based. Like they don't really want you to, hang around for too long. They just like, okay, you're in. It's inviting enough, but you're really just here to browse the aisles, grab what you need, and then go. Where this one, like, they put animatronics, they put, like, you know, all manner of, like, they put wine tasting in there for some reason. They have, like, different separate businesses all being run under one roof. They have, like, a big cheese wheel that, like, is stacked up super high. It's just absolutely wild. And it apparently it attracts people to come to that location. Like, people drive 8 hours by car just to go to Jungle Gyms, just to say they went to Jungle Gyms. It's apparently got a big online presence where it really gets people seeing it as this mystical location. It also helps that the founder and owner of the place, like, really likes to have fun with it. He dresses up, he goes into, like, a dress up location, and he's like, okay, what am I going to dress up today? And he chooses, like, one time he dressed up as Willy Wonka, which is funny because during the beginning of the video I thought to myself, he's kind of the Willy Wonka of, hold on, let me just check to make sure there's plenty of storage on. Okay, 58 minutes, good. 58 minutes left to store, got it. So anyways, he was like, I was thinking he's like the Willy Wonka of grocery stores. And lo and behold, later in the video, during B-roll, he had a Willy Wonka costume on while he was greeting customers. And in this video, he had, like, a wizard suit on. And he even was getting the host of the video to put on a wizard suit himself. And he was demonstrating how he, like, invites people over to the store. And it's very charming. He clearly has a lot of fun with his business, and it kind of makes me think more or wish more businesses ran with his kind of mentality. Very fantastical, just very willing to just cut loose and not be too rigid or stuffy, and it's really neat. I like it. Well, after that video, there was another video recommended to me called IMAX, or, like, what's the big deal with IMAX? I forget the exact title. It was basically a guy talking about, like, IMAX as, like, a format and what makes it so special. So I decided to check that one out to see what it was. Before continuing, I got, like, the Oreo ice cream sandwiches. They're the same size as regular Oreos, just with a cookies and cream ice cream in the middle instead of the Oreo stuff. And honestly, I mean it's fine, but because of how small they are, it really does feel like a tease and not like a proper, like, Oreo snack, which, yeah, that's kind of a shame, I suppose. Or, well, not a full ice cream sandwich snack is what I mean. Yeah. But you just gotta go with what you gotta go with. Work with what you've got. And then I got another cup of coffee. I watched this video. It's basically this guy who is trying his best to, like, describe what makes IMAX so special. And he was, like, mentioning the largest screen he was seeing the movie The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in 70 millimeter, which I'm actually going to see that in 70 millimeter. So I'm very much looking forward to it with my family, no less. And yeah, it made me think, I wonder how big the screen is in the theater I'm going to be seeing, since he described the specific dimensions. And I did find out some mildly bummer news, and it's that apparently the Odyssey, even though we're seeing it in 70 millimeter IMAX, the screen itself it's being projected on is actually going to have a cropped image because the image isn't as tall as the original intended aspect ratio. So I just thought, oh, that's kind of a shame. So I looked up other theaters that were nearby that were going to be showing in that format. Of course, I wasn't thinking about rebuying new tickets because we were already locked in with this location, and plus tickets sold out fast in every other location. And I found another, but just in case there's another movie coming out in 70 millimeter IMAX, I just wanted to be sure. And lo and behold, there is a movie coming out in 70 millimeter IMAX this year, other than The Odyssey. It's called Dune Part 3 by Denis Villeneuve. And this one is also being shot with 70 millimeter for specific shots, not for the whole movie. And so unlike The Odyssey, which the whole film's being shot for 70 millimeter. So when I found out about that, I was like, oh, well, next time those tickets go on sale for Dune Part 3, I'm definitely going to go to the theater that has that perfect aspect ratio to display the movie on. And I'm going to get tickets for that as soon as they open up, or at least as soon as there's an opening that's available. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Exciting stuff. And then, after watching that video, it got me to thinking, I wonder how long it would take for me to read the entirety of the book that the movie Dune Part 3 is based on, from beginning to end, starting today. How many pages would I have to read all the way up until the release date? So I asked Gemini, and apparently the amount was about 2.5 pages per day from now all the way until December 16th. So I was thinking to myself, I could totally do that. That seems entirely doable. So I decided to record myself reading the first 3 pages. So I was like, well, if it's 2.5, 2.5, might as well just get the full 3 pages out. So I'm going to be reading 3 pages of Dune Messiah a day. I'm actually recorded myself reading the first 3 pages and posted it on my YouTube channel. I even went through the trouble of recording it on my computer and then went through all the editing software through like Adobe Premiere Pro and, to enhance the audio and things like that. So I made sure it was a very, decent listening experience. I mumbled a few words or muffled a few words here and there when reading it, so it's not perfect. But, don't let perfection get in the way of progress is what I say. And I hope I can stick true to my promise and read 3 pages a day until the film releases. It's going to be really cool once the film does come out and I see it, and the story of the movie is actually going to be very fresh in my mind by the time I finally get around to watching it. So I just think that's really cool. A really, really special treat. So yeah, I recorded myself reading that book, and then after that, I decided I was going to take a shower. So yeah, I took a shower. And before I did though, I did do laundry, so I threw some laundry in. I was washed. I did that earlier in the day though, actually. That was around the time I was watching that IMAX video. And then I put the clothes I was in the washer and the dryer around the time I was taking a shower. So by the time I was done, it was all ready to go. So yeah, I remember after I was done with the shower, I decided to watch this video from Red Letter Media of Mike and Rich Evans talking about where Star Trek's headed currently. It was basically Mike Stolklasa having an excuse to use these Star Trek costumes he bought and shoving his friend Rich Evans into one of the costumes to get him to, look absolutely ridiculous. He looks like a lobster man. It's pretty interesting. But I was like watching that and I thought it was fun, but then I was getting hungry. So I decided to make 2 sandwiches, one for work, one for at that time. I had some tortilla chips with that sandwich and a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Ate that while watching the video. Very, very funny. They're basically making fun of how Alex Kurtzman, a writer of the Star Trek era, is kind of very, very poor writer, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. And Mike was like talking about how like these nerdy comedy writers are being brought in to do a new Star Trek movie, and Rich Evans has expressed complete disinterest with it. And he's like, I don't care. And then after I was done watching a little more of that, and then finishing eating my food, I put on my work clothes. I slipped on my work shoes, and I got everything I needed. And I said goodbye to my mom and my sister. Family friend wasn't there at the time, and then I went off. I told them that I love them, and then I went to work. At work, it was a good day. Yeah, there wasn't any crazy things that happened like there was the last work day, which, there was a big bathroom incident that happened yesterday that was pretty crazy. But today, nothing really too insane to really talk about or report on. But it was, it was a good day. No complaints at all, really. I went in, I punched in for the day. I brought my food into the refrigerator. I brought some veggie straws, and not real veggie straws, those air fried veggie straw things. And I put the sandwich and the soda in the fridge. I brought another soda with me. And then it was Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. And then I went down and I put on my vest, and I just got started sweeping the floors. And yeah, everything went very smoothly. Nothing ill to report. The supervisor to the store was there. I said hello, and they said hello back. And, it was a friendly interaction. Sweet produce, sweet break room, sweet the store floor. Rinse and repeat for like 3 times until it was time for me to ask for my first break, which consisted of getting water, my canteen filled with water, and then doing some breath work for a little while, and which was nice. And then I remember I took out the trashes. I punched out for lunch. I ate my sandwich, and my, fries, my veggie straws, while watching a new Jesse, and drinking my soda while watching a new Jesse Michaels video about I was watching a continuation of one I had been watching, where like a United States soldier who saw a triangle space object was being interviewed about what he knew, and apparently he claims there's 4K footage of these things that are like phone footage that's being confiscated by the US government that should definitely be released, because it would be a total paradigm shift in how we see technology. And I just think that would be cool if we could see that. All we've been getting is just black and white dots zipping around on a blurry screen. It's not what I'd call very compelling evidence of any kind of anomalous phenomenon going on. Not saying it's alien, and that's something the guy kept on saying too in the video. He kept on saying, nope, not alien, but it might very well be something, non-human, is what he said. So take that for what you will. After watching it and finishing eating my food, I decided to go downstairs while my lunch break was still going, and I got a um, beverage, or maybe not a beverage, maybe, oh, oh no, oh no, oh, that's annoying. My, the back of my drawer at the very bottom's back busted open, so some clothes fell behind the cupboard. Man, I'm like so not like awake enough to deal with that, so I'm just gonna deal with it in the morning, right? Anyways, yeah, very interesting video. And yeah, I got some Thrifty's malted crunch ice cream. I ate the whole thing. I was very greedy. And when I was done, I went back downstairs to finish my shift. Got a mini tummy ache. Told one of my coworkers about it. They thought it was funny that I ate the whole thing because I was the one who bought it from them. And yeah, they gave me this horchata drink mix. It was pretty good. And then I remember what else happened? Let me think. Oh yeah. I finished taking out the rest of the trash. I brought in bags, filled the check stands with them, wiped the check stands clean, cleared lot, brought on the produce blinds, or closed the produce blinds, sweeped produce, made sure to punch all my sweeps in on time, filled the restrooms with fresh toilet paper because they, ran out. And helped bag, alternated between all that, and finished the day off with wiping down check stand 4, and that went very well. And that's pretty much the day. When I said goodbye to my co-manager, they told me they really enjoyed the new Spider-Man movie that came out and suggested a place to watch it cheap. So I was like, okay, I'll consider it. I drove home. When I arrived home, I greeted my mom and sister. We had a pretty interesting conversation, and then I suggested my mom seeing the new Spider-Man, and she was like, yeah, that'd be fun. And we found a showing that was pretty cheap. It was only $6. So we were like, okay. So we're planning on getting those tickets for later in person, because online you have to pay $1.50 convenience fee, which it's ridiculous. And yeah. I remember I told my sister I wanted to make some peanut butter cookies, and she was like, oh, that sounds good. Instead, for like a good hour, I was watching like this guy make cookies using a McDonald's cookie making machine from like the 1990s for some reason. And I told my sister about it. She thought that was hilarious. And then I finally decided to make the cookies. As I was making the cookies, I was listening to a podcast where a guy I watched all the time when I was in high school called Ralph the Movie Makers. Ralph the Movie Maker was talking with his friend from the Bronx and another guy I watched all the time when I was in high school, IHE, talking about this film called Ruby Gilman, and they were basically talking about it was like a long preamble about nerdy stuff first, and then they finally talked about the movie. And they essentially said it was a very generic, forgettable, uninteresting film that really, was probably one of the worst films that DreamWorks has made. Which is sad to hear because, DreamWorks, they made a lot of really cool stuff. So the fact they made something that, you know, didn't really land is that's kind of that's a shame for sure. Major shame. But, I guess they can't all be winners, huh? Yeah, take the good with the bad. Yeah. All right. Well, after I was done listening to that make the cookies, I served my family friend and not our family friend and my sister, and they both thought they were amazing, which was good to hear. Not my words, theirs. And then I remember I made a hot dog in the oven because the packaging said you could cook the hot dog in the oven. And I made that. It was really good. With the bun I even put in the oven too. And yeah, it was just it was a really good meal all around. Then I cleaned up after myself. I said goodnight to my sister, told her I was going to be making my update video, and here I am making it and making my bed at the same time. So, that's pretty much the day in a, quick speed run. It was a good day. I liked it. It was, nothing I can really point to and say, "Ooh, that's why the day's lame." But no, it wasn't lame. It was solid. A solid day. Did a little Dune read through, learned about IMAX, learned about a cool grocery store, I think called Jim's Jungle. Went to work, listened to a podcast with old, co-hosts that I hadn't listened to in a while. It was fun. So yeah, it was a lot I'm really grateful for. Planned out a mission with my mom about like a constructing something. So yeah, totally nice, totally cool, and yeah, I liked it. So that's about all I gotta say for now. And right on time too. Just about finished the bed. I'm gonna go hit the hay now. So thanks for watching, stopping by. It was a real pleasure. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. So take care and have a great day. Bye, everyone.